It looks like I am live. Looks like I'm live, y'all. Thank you for joining me. I'm so excited because today I am live. This is Tammy Morrison, for those of you that don't know me or that haven't come across me. But I am live on Facebook, on YouTube, also on Instagram and TikTok. So I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for whoever's coming in these rooms. I want to talk about healing, and I definitely want to talk about depression and anxiety, those type of things, hopelessness, because those are things that are happening out here in the world. So what made me decide to talk about this thing is because I saw how one of our brothers, Twitch, passed away, and at 40 years old with a wife and three children. And so I want to kind of unpack that and talk about how depression can hit us and we don't even know. We don't even know that, depression has hit us many times. I can say that from my own standpoint, when I have been depressed, because I have dealt with depression as well in my life, never to the point of suicide, but that's not judging. I'm not judging anybody else because I can understand how they could get there. Although for me, I feel like I had such a strong constitution at that time that, I was thinking I'd rather kill somebody else than myself. But that's just me. I'm kind of a Wednesday type of girl. So, I love the sarcasm and I love to hey, thank you so much for joining, Dr. Marnie. Yes. I appreciate your kind words. You're so amazing. So, what I wanted to talk about though was this healing because y'all, it's serious. It is serious. People are dropping dead at 40 and killing themselves. And it's so much because of the traumas that we have experienced in our lifetime. It's so many things that we have dealt with in our life that, could make us feel hopeless. There is hopelessness out here in the planet. And I know that a lot of it has to do with so many of the things that hi, how you doing? So many of the things that we have dealt with in our lifetimes. Some things, more present than others. Some things happen in the past. There are things that we have dealt with in our lives, and I can speak for myself, especially things that we've dealt with that maybe were hard for us to deal with. Things that we didn't feel like we could come out of, things that we'd lost all hope. We lost it, and we just decided that there was no hope for this particular thing. And so many people are dealing with this. And what I've learned is that it doesn't matter what level of place you are in society, that you're dealing with it. Because we saw a few years ago, we saw Anthony Bourdain. Never ever dreamed that we would see him, committing suicide, killing himself. It's just was unbelievable. I mean, I still can't believe it. I didn't know him personally, but I did used to watch him on the regular. I loved his show. So, you look at people and you don't know what people are going through. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come on today and speak on this, because we are in a society where people are going through and you might not have no idea. You look at them and you have preconceived notions and things that you have conceived to that they are like, but we don't know what's going on inside of their head. We don't know what's going on inside of their heart. We don't know the things that they are dealing with. We don't know the level of trauma that they have experienced that they pushed down and now is coming up. Because that's what happens. We push that trauma down and then it starts to come up. It starts to show up in our lives. And we didn't, a lot of times we don't even have knowledge. We don't even remember what the trauma was. And it doesn't even fucking matter what the trauma is. It just matters that you recognize that it is trauma and that you can heal it. That is the main thing. And so many people are making permanent decisions based on temporary issues, and that is a problem as well, because the thing is whatever it was, you know could it have been a situation that that could have been solved? Could it have been something that was so overwhelming that that was his only option. Dr. Marnie says some suicides are reported as suicides, but we, meaning the general public, may not know the real. Exactly true. That is so real. That is a whole nother. That's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation about what they report, what we know, all that kind of stuff. I'm all with all that because I know that so many things happen that they don't tell us. And being in the medical field for as long as I have seen that over and over and over, and I seen them tell people stuff that wasn't true. And of course, what can I say? Because I'm just the nurse, but and I'm like, when they talk to me, they ask me questions. They're like, what do you think? What would you do if it was your family? And so I tell them that. I was like, if it's my family, hell no, I wouldn't do that. I would do something totally, completely different. I just would not do that. No, not doing that. Make sure you guys, when you come in the room, that you're following everybody in the room and follow me. Thank you. And I appreciate the likes, y'all. Thank you. Keep them coming. But I wanted to talk about this thing because I know that it's a lot of people that are dealing with the same thing. And I really, truly believe that if we would begin to, number one, acknowledge that there is a problem, that we have an issue, that something is going on with us. Because what happens many times is we push that stuff down and we don't even acknowledge that there is a problem. We have all of these things that are happening with us. We don't even acknowledge it because we have pushed that shit back. We pushed it away. We said, no, we're not going to deal with that. No, we're not. No, no, I don't have to. No, I don't want to. No. But sometimes it's things that we have to deal with. We need to deal with these things. And so when we are at this place where, we're needing to deal with these things, but the things start dealing with us, that usually is when people, start having these ideas. Because I'm telling y'all, when I saw that young lady, I'm saddened by Twitch, but I saw a young lady, a story about a young lady in the UK that she took her 3-year-old baby, and she was, I think, 27 or 28. I can't remember which, but she took her 3-year-old baby and she stepped off in front of a train. Hey, thank you for joining. So she stepped off the platform in front of a train and killed herself and her baby because she was in some debt. And it amounted to, when they shared, what it was like 1,400 for a rent and something else, the light bill, whatever. But it ended up being something probably less than $2,000 when I calculated it, that she killed herself and her baby for. And so, we don't know, how things affect people. I used to say years ago that, you know, certain people weren't affected by that and certain people did not, commit suicide. But I have definitely been proven wrong lately and now, because all kinds of people commit suicide. Many people kill themselves every single day, and it's something. And the other thing is too, just like Dr. Marnie said, it could not be as it was reported, but we're gonna just roll with that for now. However, what I'm talking about is depression, because that is so huge right now. I mean, it's been huge, but now it's even worse because probably of the situations that we just went through, the pandemonium, and all the things that happened with that, all the shutdowns, and looks like every time I turn around, they're trying to shut something else down, or they're doing all kinds of stuff and all of that. Your brother did. Oh, got you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And see, you may not have known what was going on with them because many times, they don't share. Because here's what I learned, working in detox. I worked in a detox mental health facility in intake. So I used to bring people in. And what I learned is that, people have different motivations for coming in and getting treatment. And then the other part of that is the treatment is really not, it really ain't treatment, because they bring them in, they only allow so many days for them to stay and get detoxed. But That's just the beginning. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much else, so much other things that need to happen with people that have been dealing with the drug addiction. We need to deal with their mindset. We need to deal with, what's going on with them. We need to deal with their cells. We need to deal with their chakras. There are so many things that we need to deal with people that are having those type of issues. It's not just about, getting them away from the drugs, because we all know if it's not drugs, it'll be something else. There's always something. If you have that type of personality, you have an addictive type of personality. And one of the things about that is knowing that you do, knowing that that is a part of who you are. And it doesn't have to be, I mean, you can change your addiction and start being addicted to water. If you were addicted to alcohol or coffee or whatever, you can get you a Starbucks cup like they gave us for work, and you can be addicted to water. So I fill it up with water and I use this. I have decided that I'm only going to use it for water because I know that's what I need to do. I need to drink, however much water a day, like they tell you to drink half of your body weight in ounces at least a day. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you want to drink 100 ounces of water a day. So you sit down and you figure out, what it's going to take to do that. And we are dealing with the same type of stuff when we're dealing with depression and anxiety and hopelessness and fear and all of these low level vibrations, because that's really what they are. They're all low level vibrations. They don't do anything for us. They don't take us anywhere. They don't have, anything about that. And, they keep us stuck and bound and keep us doing things like that, because we have no hope. We have no faith. We have nothing, and we don't feel like, oh my goodness gracious. What I want to know is, why do people send you messages when you're on lives? Now, when I get off this live, I bet nobody will send me a message or anything or call me. But when I'm on the live, everybody wants to call me. Everybody wants to send me a message. No, I am doing a live. I am live on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. So if you want to talk to me, if I'm on live, you could come on live and put a chat in. All right. So anyway, depression, I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. And I know that I'm on point with that because so many people have reached out to me and told me how much this content has helped them. And so this is really, what I want to do. This is my choice to talk about, things that are affecting us in the global, because this is not only affecting us here in America, but it's affecting us every single place. Every single place. This is a national epidemic, really. I mean, an international epidemic, really, because it's happening all over the world, the planet. I used to think it was just here. It's almost like when I talk about racism. Well, racism is not just here. Racism is all over this planet and it's embedded in the world. That's what it is. And that's why it's so difficult to deal with. But I'm not talking about that today. I'm talking about depression, anxiety, hopelessness, fear, all of those things, doubt, disbelief. And the thing that I'm going to say is that there are so many people that are believers. And I'm talking about those people that identify as believers in Christ, in Jesus, those people that are believers. But there are so many people that are unbelieving believers. And what am I talking about with that? I'm talking about you talk faith and you go to church every Sunday and you do whatever the things that you do. You go and you volunteer and all this stuff, but you don't really believe that God can heal. You don't really believe that the universe can send you healing. You don't really believe that your body has been created to be able to heal itself. That is how our body was created. That is how God created us. And so there are so many people out there like that just don't believe. And how can I speak on that? Because I was that person. I was that person. I was an unbelieving believer. I prayed and I thanked God and I worshiped and I sang on the choir and I danced the jig, I shouted, all of these things. But that did not mean that I had the relationship with God that I desired and that I said I did. I didn't have the belief that, God can actually heal, even though I had seen healings. I've seen spontaneous healings. I've seen rapid healings. I've seen healings that happen in an instant. I've seen people's legs get, uh, grow out. I've seen all this kind of stuff. I saw this as a child, growing up. My grandmother used to go to different churches, and she would pray over people, and she would ask me to pray. And so I've seen those type of things, and I participated in those. But I still had this place in me where I still just didn't believe that God could heal anything. I still had this inside of me, even though I had my own healing experience where God healed me. I had my youngest child. Um, I was so sick I was almost dying, and I actually stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks after having a baby, y'all, because they really honestly don't know what happened. They don't know what was wrong. They just know something was not right, because my body shut down, and I had all these other issues. Got had to end up getting about 4 units of blood. So I was really, in a bad way. So I know that God is a healer. I know that. Nobody has to tell me that. But for some reason, I did not have that type of belief and that faith that I thought I did. Hear me now, hear me, because I'm not speaking against anybody's religion or anybody's truth or anything like that. I'm sharing, what I went through and what I know to be true. Because I know that, even though, we praise God and we thank God and we jump and shout and we say, God, we know you can do this and you can heal and blah, blah, blah. But we don't always believe it. We don't believe it because we might have had some limiting beliefs that were within us, that we believe that, God can heal all kinds of things, but maybe not this. Or maybe God can heal other people but not me. Maybe he healed all those people in the Bible but not me. Maybe he healed all those people that you see in different places when you went to Billy Graham's tent meetings and all that, because I've been to tent meetings as well too. I don't remember doing Billy Graham's because I was quite young, but I do remember different tent meetings that I've been to. And so I've seen so many different miraculous things in those meetings. And so but the thing is when you grow up and you're in the church and you're doing all the things, because there are so many things that you can do in the church, and there's always a thing to do, but that doesn't mean that you have cultivated a relationship with God, with source, with the universe that you need. That doesn't mean that you did that. You know what I mean? And so when people start dealing with depression and they go to the church and they say, hey, I'm dealing with depression. And then they say, you know what? God is bigger than that. You don't have to be depressed or whatever. But they don't take the time to show them the one, the real, the true God, source, universe. They don't take the time to show them and to tell them, hey, this is real. Yes, we can call on the name of God. Yes, we can use our words in order to heal. Yes, we are creators. You are a creator. That is one of the things. And so I want to talk a little bit about spiritual depression, because spiritual depression is something that typically steals your joy and steals your vitality, and it causes you to lose touch with, your faith, and not only your faith, but yourself. Because to be honest with you, that is what your faith is. Your faith is having a belief in God, source, universe, the one that lives inside of you. Spiritual depression can be like forgetting God or struggling to find time, to pray and to meditate and do the things that that you need to do. Focusing more on past mistakes than changes, instead of looking at where you could be going, what you desire and all that stuff. You stay stuck in the past and you stay in this place where you are looking at, things that happened yesterday, or the hell, things that happened 10, 20 years ago for some people, 30 years ago. You're looking at all of this stuff instead of looking at how your future can be so much more brighter, or even your now can be so much more brighter. And sometimes it's a general sense of unhappiness or melancholy, and you just can't shake it. And you're at this place where, you're feeling all the feels, but you can't shake, this particular depression. You can't shake it. And so some of the signs though to look for is struggling to find joy in the things that you normally do, that you would normally find joy in. Withdrawing from your community, avoiding people that you normally spend time with, losing interest in, things that excite you, questioning and wondering and having a negative or pessimistic thinking. That is like so terrible. A sense of hopelessness and discouragement, like if you can't find anything to be grateful for. And some of the things that we can do when we're at this place is you can do some things that you enjoy. Like for me, I love to dance, so I'll put on a song and I'll dance. I love to sing. I'll put on a song and I'll sing, you know and that helps me to lift my vibrations from this place. Because hear me out, it's a place that you go to. It's not just stinking thinking. It's a place that you go to, because you go to this place, and that's why it's difficult to get out of it. But when you go to it, you have to know that you can come out of it. And also know that as you take this time and you begin to do the things that you know that you need to do, you know, things will begin to work out better for you. Things will begin to move, and you may get to a place where, you're not thinking of suicide. You're not thinking of, I don't want to be here anymore. And you know what? I understand that completely, because there were times in my life where I said, you know what? Maybe it would be best if I wasn't here anymore. Maybe it would be best if I go, someplace else or do something else. There's all kinds of things in the way we think. But when we begin to take a step back from the depression, when we begin to basically go into our hearts and begin to create the love that we need for ourselves. Because sometimes we have to create it. Sometimes it's not just there. We have to create this love, and we have to begin to experience life in a different way. And so many times people are feeling depressed, and they could be suffering from clinical depression, which is a whole other thing. Clinical depression is a whole other thing. Oh, okay. I'm looking. Lord, they got to change the way the comments are now. They didn't change the comments. Wow. Okay, so thank you for joining my mood. But yeah, so anyway, so when we're dealing with depression, if we are dealing with clinical depression, if it's something, that we need to go to the doctor, and we may need to go get some drugs, get some medication that will help us, because sometimes that's what we need. It's not always that we need, medication. Sometimes we need meditation. Sometimes we need prayer, but there are times when you need medication. It may be more than just, dealing with some of the feelings and the issues and all that stuff. You may need, a hypnotherapist or a psychotherapist or somebody to go deeper into that, because the description that people have described depression as living in a black hole, going down the rabbit hole, feeling an impending sense of doom. You feel like, nothing is ever going to change. And that's what I feel like that young lady felt that stepped in front of that train. Y'all, that thing bothered me so bad. I just was like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is happening in this world. I just couldn't think that, there was not any help. Although she had gone to court and they had reduced her fees to like 149 a month or something, and she had just found a job that she was starting the next week. So, it looked like things were looking up, but we don't know, where she was in her mind. We don't know where she was in her mind, y'all. We don't know. We don't know, because it had to be something that was so great to her that she did that, permanent thing. She did that permanent assignment based on a temporary problem. And so that is one of the things that I definitely, want to hit home about. That is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. It was temporary. That was not going to last forever. It actually wasn't going to last much longer. because she had gotten some help. But people feel that way, and they feel empty, and they feel lifeless, and feel like, nobody cares about them. And that's a whole nother thing, because when you feel like nobody cares about you, baby, that's a whole other black hole. Because you feel like, maybe if you were not here, then it wouldn't matter to the people that love you. But this is how you feel inside your mind. That's how you feel. It doesn't have anything to do about what's real and what's true. you know and even many times, people start to shy away from people that they know, or um they start to do things that are outside of the norm of something that they would do. So they start doing things and people are like, why is she doing that? Because that's not something that she does. you know they start doing things, and I can say that because I have been there, where when I look back on some of the things that I did, y'all, I knew that I was depressed. I knew that I was depressed. I knew I had to have been depressed. This was, of course, after I came out of that. Yes, thank you so much for joining me, baby. And so I knew that there was, things that I did that, it didn't make no sense when I look back on it. Of course, in the middle of it, you don't know, because because you're in the middle of it and you can't see, the big picture, but like someone else can do on the outside. However, as you begin to, you know, come to yourself, because that was one of the things that I had to do. I had to begin to come to myself. I was in the middle of a mess. I think at this time I had left my first husband. I had left him, and and we and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had my babies. My kids were small, and I was like, I knew I didn't want to do that, but I ended up going back to him because I thought that's what God wanted me to do. And when I think about it now, I believe that that was the case. But that was what I heard, and that was what I heard. Even though people said to me things like, "Oh, really? Why would you do that? He's blah 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 blah." People had all kind of things to say. But I had to go by what was in my heart. I had to go by what the Holy Spirit was saying to me. Not you, not you. And so this is sometimes what goes on with people when they're dealing with this anxiety and depression and hopelessness and fear. They're in the middle of this mess and they feel alone, like they're by themselves. And so that's why the work that I do, I believe, is so important, because I truly believe in surrounding people with love and holding space for them. Because sometimes that's all people need, is for somebody to surround them with love and hold space for them. And so that is one of the things that, I feel called to this planet to do. That's what I feel like. I feel called to this planet, you know, to um help people to heal, to hold space for them, so that they can get out of their head. Because a lot of times you're in your head, and that's what happens. And so you're like stuck in your head, and you can't think clearly. That's for one thing. You can't think clearly. You're depressed. All you thinking really about is you and how to get out of that situation. That is mainly what it is. It's like you're thinking of you and how do I get out of this situation, right? I know I'm not alone, and I know I'm not the only one, but I know that that is the case. It's like, why, I'm not alone. I'm in this situation, but I feel alone. I feel like, oh my God, what is really going on? And so there are so many things that you can do. Like I said, shifting the vibrations, shifting even your atmosphere, maybe going to a different place. Sometimes you need to move. Sometimes you need to just, go someplace else. Maybe you need to go and, go to the ocean, go to the beach, go to the water, because the water is healing. Sometimes you need to go to the mountains, because there are people. I actually spoke with a young lady the other day that she said the mountains were calling her. And so she moved clear across the country to Colorado, to the mountains. And so that was like amazing, and I just love that, because once you know what's calling you, then you can get up and move and do and shake and do the things you need to do. And so as we begin to deal with depression, I want to go over some belief work and stuff that can help you in the depression. And so what you typically want to do with the belief work is you want to just say these things. It's really a lot like affirmations. It really kind of is. But you want to say this because these are things that are going to help you, and it's going to get in your subconscious. It's going to get in your cells and in your nervous system as you say these things. And so you want to say, I know how to live my day-to-day life without being depressed. I know how to live my day-to-day life without being depressed. I know the Creator's definition of joy. I know the Creator's definition of joy. I know what it feels like to live without having to create depression. Because here's the news flash, y'all. Whatever you are living in, you have created. You have created. And this planet, this day, all these things, they've already happened. We've already been here. We've already done that. This is why you experience deja vu like you do, because we've already done these things. We've already done it. We've already experienced it. I've already had this conversation with you. So that's another sidebar. So you create whatever it is that you're living in. So if you're living in depression, if you're living in anxiety, if you're living in addiction, you create all of those things. Now, that's not to say you have to stay there, because just because you created it doesn't mean that it's yours forever. You don't have to keep it. You can let it go. You can release it. You can send it to the light. There are things that you can do. But as you begin to validate and accept yourself, then these things will begin to shake off of you. But also as you begin to look and you see the shadows, because there are patterns in our lives. And as we begin to look at the patterns, as we begin to see the patterns, as we begin to see how they show up in our lives, then we can change them. We can transmute them. We can do all kinds of things in order to get what we desire in this planet. And it doesn't have to involve hopelessness. It doesn't have to involve anxiety. It doesn't have to involve depression. It doesn't have to involve any of those things. So as we begin to look, because I'm telling you, this is not new that people have been, committing suicide and, killing themselves and all kinds of stuff in all kinds of ways, because you know what? You can kill yourself in many different ways. You can do suicide by cop. You can do suicide by hospital. You can do all kinds of things. You can do suicide by a mission if you're like in the military or something. If you're an officer, you can do suicide any kind of way that you want to. But you don't have to. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to do it. I'm just saying. Now you can decide and make a decision about, what you want to be in your life, what you want to do in your life, all of these things. However, you don't have to do nothing. A wise man said years ago, to somebody telling him he had to do something. He said, I don't have to do but two things. He said, I don't have to do but two things in this life. One is stay black and the other one is die. So basically, those are the two things that you have to do in this life. You can't avoid those things because you are who you are, and, death comes for all of us. We are all dying, some faster than others. But suffice it to say that we don't have to die from depression. I don't know why people aren't talking about that, but that is killing many, many people. Depression and anxiety. And I'm going to keep talking about it until people get it, because I know that it is so important and it is so rampant, it's running around rampant. So many people are doing it. It's almost like, something is all the rage now. Oh, well, let's just kill ourselves today. I just want to kill myself today because you know why? I don't want to be here anymore. It's time for me to leave. It's time to move on to the next realm. whatever. But that's just not the thing. It's not the case. It's not what we should be doing, y'all. It's not what we should be doing. So what I want to do is I'm going to do a little short. We're gonna do a little short journey. If you have time and you can, close your eyes and take a deep breath for me. And visualize yourself going down into your heart. And I want you to see, feel, or imagine a bright light going down, down, down from the heavens all the way through all of your chakras. And as they go through, they are aligning your chakras. So as that light goes through, it's aligning each and every one of your chakras. And it's going down, down, down into the heart of Mother Earth, through all the muck and the mire. Take a deep breath for me. And blow it out through your mouth. And then I want you to feel the vibrations. Feel the subtle vibrations. I want you to allow that red, orange light to go down through your crown, all the way through your third eye and your throat chakra, into your heart, your root, your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, down into your feet, down into Mother Earth, where you're grounded. Take a deep breath for me. And right now, I speak against the spirit of depression right now. I call it out right now, depression, right now. If you're suffering from it right now, I call it out. Call it out. I'm going to send it to the light. I can feel the energy moving. Take a deep breath for me. And I want to call you back into your body. Allow yourself to feel your hands and your feet. All of your chakras are performing at the level that they are supposed to. Take a deep breath for me and blow it out. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, if you've done this healing with me, make sure that you are drinking plenty of water, because I did shift a lot of energy. I can feel it, but I shifted a lot of energy. And I would love it if you would comment back, send me back a message, and let me know how this felt for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate all of you. I will be back on for Sunday service with the Morrisons on Sunday. I'm so appreciative. If you guys would join me, that would be amazing. Um, I also come on Tuesdays and Thursdays and do lives where I talk about healing. This month, I guess I've been on depression and anxiety, and I've been doing some different healings and processes to help release some cluttered emotions and things like that. If you would like to come and have a private session with me, those are available as well. I also want to talk about my healing hub, which my healing hub is going to be. It is a healing arena where I do healings once a week, weekly healings. And the people that are in the founding members, which that's what I'm looking for now, founding members get an opportunity to get a one-to-one healing with me monthly, where I'll draw random drawing every month for all the people that are in the healing hub. But we'll do the weekly healings on Zoom. You'll also get them, the replays as well, in your email. Right now, I'm going to probably house it in a private Facebook group, but I'm looking at some other places to put it. I'm also looking at maybe Mighty Network. So be on the lookout for that. But that is coming because I know that it's necessary. You'll get, what you can do is you can reach out to me and send me, what it is that you're dealing with, and we can deal with that on the call. Also, like I said, there'll be also trainings coming through because I know that it's something that's needful. People need help with, listening to their intuition and learning how to connect to their spirit team. And so those are things that I can help you and train you and teach you with. And so those are things that will be happening in the Healing Hub. So if that's something that piques your interest, reach out to me, send me a private message on any of these platforms that you're watching me on: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. You can also send me an email. My email is tammi.unleashingyourtrueself at outlook.com. So you can also reach out to me there. And also, if you are interested in writing in my multi author book, Passing the Pearls, it is a book about our grandmothers. I'm super excited about it. I'm looking for about 5 more people to join us in writing in this book because it's going to be amazing. It's just going to share stories about our grandmothers, because I know that for me, it's an honoring thing because I wanted to honor my grandmother, and I decided to invite other people to join me to share stories about their grandmother because I know that so many people have stories about their grandmother. And if that is you and you're looking to join us in writing a chapter about your grandmother to share with the world, join us. Join us and also send me a message about that as well if that's something that you're looking for. So, again, thank you so much for joining me today on my live. I will see you again on Sunday morning. Sunday service with the Morrisons will be doing. And I'll also see you again on Tuesday because on Tuesdays and Thursdays I come live, and I'm going to make it my goal to come live on all of these platforms because I think it's amazing that we can talk to people all over the planet. So, again, thank you so much for joining me. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the Healing Hub. Again, it is going to be 4 healings, like weekly healings. If it's 5 weeks, it'll be 5, but it's weekly healings in this Healing Hub. You also get access to me via Messenger, and we'll do Telegram or Vox or one of those platforms as well if you guys like that. But you have access to me in that way, so you can always reach out. But it's $33 a month is what it is. So it's less than a cup of Starbucks coffee a month. It's less than Starbucks coffee a month. So, again, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to pop off here because I have some things to do. But I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, night, weekend. And reach out to me if you are looking for what I got. So have a good day. Bye now.